Hey guys, welcome to another Sunday episode, and this time, well, the reality is that I actually had a different plan, a different video, basically based on Overwatch plan, but unfortunately at the moment I'm getting some serious lag and rubber banding issues on Overwatch, which basically means I can't record any decent footage, so obviously means I have to think of something else, and I thought, why not just do a video on sort of just why I do sort of the silent let's play with Darkest Dungeon, and in at the time of the recording of this, I've basically got a long-running Darkest Dungeon series in which I've sort of been doing silent let's plays for a while, which is kind of just basically very much gameplay without commentary, and basically I know it's not what people want to watch, or like not what a lot of people want to watch, and essentially it's obviously not very interesting to a lot of people because part of it is also having a strategy and sort of like personality to go with it. So without further ado, I think the least I can do is actually, you know what, I would just quickly adjust a couple of things, just switch that over, and alright, okay. Just had to readjust what I went with it. So the plan is, what I'm gonna do is that I'm just gonna do sort of like a just a very relatively easy Darkest Dungeon farming run, and this is sort of like episode 79 or 80.5. So in sort of way it is on the series at the moment, I know that this video will actually come out earlier than when episode 79 or 80 will come out. So but I mean, for the most part, it's not really that much of a big deal. So why Darkest Dungeon? I think Darkest Dungeon is one of those games that has really so much of a atmosphere and sort of just kind of a way of really just enhancing the environment in a way that just really grabs you in, and it just feels like, and part of it just feels like, well, there's really not much I can do to enhance it. Of course, there is also just, you know, my own commentary and gameplay with it as well. And the other thing is that basically I don't always have the time to record stuff with commentaries. Like sometimes I will get up in the morning and I'm just in no mood to play a game and give commentary at the same time, and that's definitely one of those things that for me is kind of a big deal, because it's also just sort of having the consideration of other people within the same house, and that's, of course, I live with my family, so it's part of it is also should probably okay. But yeah, part of it is basically that I also live with my family, so it's not like I can always just sit down and record whatever I want whenever I want. I still gotta be mindful of my family and just sort of just understanding that, okay, you know, there are times where I can talk and other times where I be quiet, and obviously I must try and grab, you know, every single opportunity. Well, not every single opportunity, but basically grab opportunities to record, and that's certainly one huge factor. So being able to record without commentary actually gives me the opportunity to record in the mornings when, say, like, you know, my family's eating breakfast, or at night when you know, maybe my family's eating dinner, or if I'm shut up in my room because my younger brother's teaching a student, that sort of thing. It's very much more a convenience thing for me, and it's a little easier for me, and I understand that comes at the expense of yeah, I understand that comes at the expense of essentially like depleting watchability from the video. But one thing that's actually, one thing I sort of just enjoy doing with Darkest Dungeon in general is that is, at least when I think about the episodes, and when I, after I've recorded the footage, and then I go and then you know, I edit them, I often it gets me to think about, okay, if the selling point is not my commentary, then what can I do to make the watching experience better? So I'm just gonna pull up the wiki for that. I'm just going into code, so I just need to remember and cheat and look up the wiki and just see what other stuff I need. I know I need a bunch of shovels. No, I need a bunch of medicinal herbs. No, that's probably too many. You go with 3. Bandages used for occasional bleed attacks. Alright. I think we get a key and some more food, because we don't actually have a healer. We don't have a real healer, so to speak. Alright. And so one of the things I've started cutting out in some of my latest videos is just sort of just picking these kind of things, because it's just basically getting into provisions, because it's part of it is also it's not interesting to watch people sort of like just some of the decisions, and oftentimes I'll probably take a few minutes too long to actually get the provisions for some of these games. So it's just sort of just identifying what parts in the game can I cut out and sort of just improve the watching experience. And it also gets me to think about it also sort of helps in sort of just keeping videos within a reasonable amount of time. Now this loaded screen as well is something that I also consistently cut out, because I mean, it's not interesting to watch, and I'm not saying anything, and unless you really want.
These salt-soaked caverns are teeming with pelagic nightmares. They must be flushed out.
And basically, you know, I've got nothing to add to it, so it's really not all that interesting to see. So, but you know, I mean, for now, while I'm actually talking, it means I've actually got something to say, and as a result, it's only, you know, fair enough. But you know, I can afford to leave that kind of footage in. So
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
And oh, the environment. And the thing is, when I mean, what I guess the other thing also falls back into what kind of videos I personally like to watch, because one of the things about doing Let's Plays is also just or at least one of the advice when you you go to a Let's Play kind of thing is that you make the videos you want to watch. And basically I find that I occasionally enjoy watching videos in which sometimes it's just the background ambience, and for me that is basically Darkest Dungeon. And previously I've watched like XCOM, just gameplay video, no commentary, just because I enjoyed the ambience, the sound, the background, the environment, the noise, and everything else like that. And I think, and that's basically the kind of videos I was trying to make with at least this Darkest Dungeon, because it's just sort of like a story on its own, a movie on its own, or it's just ambience, or it's not like I have to let's see, I want to heal, there we go. It's not like I want to, what am I trying to say here? Well, first let me chop this guy out. Sort of just creating that viewing experience that is just better on it, feels better on its own. And it's like right now, especially if I could just comment on the strategy, I mean, there's really not much to say in my opinion. Of course, some people may disagree, and that's fine. And that's absolutely fine. Now, do I want to stun this guy? Yes, I think I do. There we go, there's the stun. Oh, I should have healed the other guy. And I just feel like there isn't much to the commentary I can add for this game, but I mean, some people may disagree otherwise, especially, you know, if I've got my own quirks, and personally I don't think I'm that interesting, but I guess some other people may think otherwise. But you know, I'm not gonna like really get in all of a tizzy about it. It's kind of like, well, okay, this is the way I'm gonna do things, and I'm just like, well, it works for me that way, and it works for me that way. I'm pretty much happy with it. So let's just check out the fish idol. We'll just Google that. Oh, and then okay, so it's basically a buff to damage if I put a holy water on it. All right, works for me. 8 plus 18% damage. That's pretty good. So I don't think there's much else I could. I'm just trying to think of what else I can say, and I'm just kind of drawing a blank right now. I mean, Darkest Dungeon is not gonna be the only one. There are other games I have in mind. One is called Fairy Fencer F, which I definitely released 1 or 2 episodes before, but sort of just lost interest in it, because at the time I just wasn't all that interested in getting into video editing. And Fairy Fencer F is one of those anime games where you kind of need. It has a little more stuff that I would basically need to go through and edit out, and that was just at the time something I was not interested in doing. But since Fairy Fencer F in particular has like dialogue moments, and but there's also like relatively boring, say, battle scenes, that sort of thing. So it's just like, okay, I can chop out the excess battle scenes and things like that. And alright, let's get everyone back. And so basically it's like I can chop out the excess battle scenes and essentially sort of just make okay, I want anti-venom, there we go. Alright, let's let's put a torch up. Let's top everyone off a bit because I don't have a real healer. And 9, 8. There we go. All right. And yeah, Fairy Fence F is another one I have planned, and now because I'm a bit more in sort of just doing video editing and all that, it's definitely something I plan to sort of just start recording stuff for, and just getting around to doing, because I think it's definitely, I mean, I don't know when I'll finish Darkest Dungeon. I don't know how many more episodes it's gonna take me, but definitely Darkest Dungeon is not going to be the only game that's, you know, I'm gonna be like playing silently, so to speak. Let's chop this guy up. There we go. Alright, and yeah, I mean, ultimately it's just a convenience thing, and given that I'm currently committed to sort of just releasing one video every day, it's, you know, as long as possible until, you know, it's not my priorities change, then it's gonna be how it is. And yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those, well, you know, if you don't enjoy watching it, then, you know, I'm not gonna go like, well, you know, screw you, that sort of thing. I mean, it's kind of like, when it comes to YouTube videos, it's like the powers, it's pretty much in the hands of the, which one's doing the guardian? This one. So it means I gotta stun him. There we go. That's more like it. Yeah, we'll kill that. And yeah, there's really not much else I can say. It's just convenience, and the fact that it doesn't take a lot of effort, and, you know, at most I'm a fairly busy person doing the university semester. I teach at three universities, and sometimes when I have a full day and I just want to get home and just want to you know, just sit down, play some Darkest Dungeon, and I can still just put the recording, I can still just record something and then just say, you know, and just sort of edit it, put it up, just clean up a bit, and then, you know, that will just work as it is. Again, you know, people who do this full time, obviously they are able to add commentary. They have the extra time to do all the editing, all the fancy stuff and all that. And that's, I mean, that's fine. That's completely up to them. And I'm glad that they have the ability and the time to make the videos the way they want it. But for someone like me right now, who's sort of just juggling several jobs at the same time, and probably pretty much doesn't have as much time as other people to, like, really to really just putting the amount of effort,
momentum. Push on to the task's end.
And like basically putting the amount of effort that I would ideally want. It's just kind of just one of those things that I have to let go and just not really like beat myself up too much about it. Ooh, eerie coral. Now we got medicinal herbs. So which one's got the most negative quirks? It's gonna be this guy. Alright. Yes, remove one of the more annoying ones. Alright. And yeah, I mean, that's how it is in general when it comes to content creation, and I guess life in general, because for me, like, I'm
a handsome reward.
Am I 25 or 26 years old? I don't actually remember. But part of it is also pretty much like it's like I have to figure out my priorities, and I'm just like, okay, let's go easy on the editing. Let's not worry too much about, you know, like really getting into editing, because basically it's like part of my reason for not really liking editing as much as I probably should is also because part of it comes from also being a musician, where it's sort of like, okay, we can practice, and then but for the moment, that one moment or that few moments where it actually matters, the amount of time invested is very disproportionate to sort of like the amount of time that you end up putting on a type of performance sort of thing. So I'm just like, okay, if I spend like 3 hours editing like and putting together a 10-minute video, that's not something I can justify doing. I don't I just feel like it's a lot of unneeded effort, even though it's not to say that putting all the effort into editing video isn't a waste of time. It's more that it's more that I can't justify putting in the effort to do so. and that's okay, really. I mean, if other people want to put
This expedition at least promises success.
if other people want to put more time into editing their videos because you know they have a level of quality that they want out of it, then all the more powerful to them. It's just that obviously they have to recognize that
Light, the promise of safety.
obviously they have to recognize that that maybe they can't get as many videos out as they would like, or you know, it's like there are other constraints, or maybe or essentially it requires a greater time investment, that sort of thing. So again, it's a to each their own kind of thing, and it's not something that is really I guess under your control, you the viewers control. And sometimes it's got me to think, it's got me to ask, well, how much do people really notice these things? And I'm just like, you know, I'm not, that's not something I'm going to try and answer because I don't actually know. And I mean, the fact is, when one of the content creators I watch is Northern Line, and his videos pretty much have no or minimal editing. And and that's actually what I like about his videos. I like that, you know, he's kind of just his videos basically are sold on their how am I gonna say this? It's like his videos are popular because of his personality, and I guess that's sort of what I'm also aiming for as well. And it's like if I have to, I just done the wrong guy. I'm an idiot. Okay. And I just feel like if he could do that, then I could possibly do that. But I mean, obviously there are certain circumstances in which and obviously it's much harder to be popular on YouTube these days. But that's not the point. The point is, he's popular because he's carved out a personality. He's been doing this for long enough to say, okay, he's been doing it for long enough to like basically set an example and just say to other aspiring content creators, doesn't necessarily have to be like, you know, they have to be successful or anything, but it's like basically saying, okay, you can still do this, and if you're in a different situation, or maybe you get a lucky streak, maybe you have that chance of being, you know, I guess popular. And for me, I guess it's not being popular that I'm worried about. I mean, for me, I kind of just do this as a sanity type of hobby kind of thing, and it's more like sometimes occasionally I get very wrapped up in work.
Success so clearly in view.
Okay, let's
Or
look
is
at
it
the
merely a trick of the light?
And it's like, for me, the reason I do this, like the reason I force my, the reason I maintain this Let's Play channel is because playing games gives me that escape, and also just gives me, well, it's like an obligation to take care of myself in a sort of like a work-life balance, or just like a sanity preservation kind of means, because I'm someone who can easily get way too wrapped up in work and just sort of just forgets what's important, or just simply forget to have fun. And even if it's just sitting down for 30 minutes in the evening playing half an hour Darkest Dungeon, recording it, and then rendering the video and then just uploading it, that's enough to sort of just that's basically enough set of a sanity maintenance thing for me, as weird as it sounds. And I guess that's just how it is. So we'll be wrapping this up fairly quickly, and just let's just see Megan. That's interesting. I thought it'll be a snail, but that said, there are a couple of things I want to do differently with my Darkest Dungeon series, and sort of like maybe just including sort of it's still gonna be silent, or I might consider adding commentary to some of the videos, but for now it's still a very convenient means for me just to kind of chill, kind of do my own thing, still play games, still enjoy Darkest Dungeon, and to be able to stick to my commitment of just putting out one video every day, around 30 minutes or so, always at 6 PM Australian Eastern Standard Time. And I'm quite happy with what I've been doing so far, and basically I don't see much reason to change it. I've never been, I guess I'm not really one to really listen to viewers or other people. And yeah, it honestly doesn't bother me too much in that regard. So we'll quickly just grab this last bag and then wrap up this run, and then therefore wrap up this video. So
Waiting to be spent.
and that's our run wrapped up for today. So alright, we'll hit that quest complete, and then
At last, wholesome marine life can flourish. If indeed there is such a thing.
it's sort of like the one thing about Darkest Dungeon is just the atmosphere sets, especially with the narrator Wayne June. It's sort of also very similar to, like, if you actually go check out Wayne June's audiobooks, his voice is enough to sort of set the environment, and it's essentially interesting enough to sort of just sit down, listen, chill, enjoy the.
Can you feel it? The walls between the sane world and that unplumbed dimension of delirium are tenuously thin here.
It's basically enough to sort of just enjoy the environment, the ambience, and sort of just things like that. So, you can gamble and need to recover some stress. Which one? You're only gonna do flagellation, which is quite expensive. I'm not so keen on that. I'll just equip all trinkets and get rid of any doubles. Alright, that's one. And pick up any others? Actually, no. Okay, well, we'll leave it at that. Actually, no. Let's see. Will he drink? No. Okay, well, I don't want him to gamble because he might lose money on a trinket. But definitely, I'm sort of in a bit tight with money at the moment. So, and it's definitely something that will eventually improve in the future. So, I'll just quickly check the. Okay, this is a level 2 Crusader. This is actually more tempting to take than this guy. So, you know what? I will take this guy.
A mighty sword arm anchored by holy purpose. A zealous warrior.
Alright, well, that's my party tidied up for the next one. So yeah, thank you for watching. Hope this is giving you sort of some insight into why I sort of just create silent videos. And I know, I mean, my attitude is that if you're not interested in watching them, then don't watch them. It's, I mean, no harm, no foul. If you want to complain about it, then I don't know why you're wasting your energy complaining about it. But yeah, that's kind of my attitude to things. So yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to be mean or anything. It's just that, you know, if you like it, great. If not, then no harm, no foul. Anyway, thank you for listening to my ramblings. Thank you for listening to sort of just a light commentary on this Darkest Dungeon run, even though there wasn't really all that much to say, but that's pretty much the reason why I figured, well, it's probably not all that useful to provide commentary to the Darkest Dungeon run. I just think my voice does not go well with the ambience and the atmosphere. So anyway, random thoughts, there you go. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you on the next video.